Brutalist is an epic tale of the plight of fictional brutalist architect Laszlo Toth, as he chases his passion and desperately tries to survive in a foreign land. As a Hungarian immigrant to America post-World War II, the character has already been put through extreme physical and emotional trials when we first meet him on the boat ride over. The film's opening sequence brilliantly encompasses the chaos, nervousness, excitement, relief, and pure elation that this new home represents. The film never relents. From start to finish, you're in it right alongside this character. You feel Laszlo's emotions in every single sequence, and this is an incredible performance from Adrien Brody. He's able to portray the obsessive nature of this character in a way that's completely convincing and humanizing. We all know what it's like to be passionate about something, and the love for his craft of choice is depicted beautifully, giving an extremely satisfying feeling both when he's working on the projects and when they are finally completed. This obsession brings with it a stark theme of isolationism, often depicting Toth as quietly suffering, most notably represented by a long-term battle with heroin addiction, a broken aspect of the character that desperately wants to find inner peace and self-acceptance. The supporting actors are great here as well. Felicity Jones plays Laszlo's wife who suffers with paralysis in her legs after the war, yet refuses to let her physical handicap prevent her from work, or being a supportive wife to her husband and aunt to the niece she has essentially adopted and brought to the States with her. Her struggle parallels Laszlo's own, showcasing the blood, sweat, and tears that go into making a new life. Another captivating performance comes from Guy Pearce, portraying a wealthy socialite that takes an interest in Laszlo's work. He's the primary antagonist of the piece, and is the antithesis of our hero, a pragmatic yet cruel man who has built his empire off the backs of others. The relationship between Pearce and Brody is the main conflict in the film, the struggle between the artist and commercialism. Laszlo's buildings are things of true beauty, many of his original designs back home still left standing even after the bedlam of war. They are symbolic of the tenacity of the architect that designed them. Yet once in America, he's forced to work for peanuts, a reminder that artistic skill doesn't always correlate with putting food on the table. He only catches a break when Pearce recognizes him for the talent he is. This leads to him being commissioned for the greatest work of his life, but in the process he must give more and more of himself away to a man who ultimately sees him as nothing more than a means to an end. It parallels the relationship between audience and artist as well, as more often than not, we don't consider or have any idea of what it takes to bring us a work of beauty. And when we do find an artist like Toth, we expect them to deliver astounding pieces consistently, or they'll be forced to pay financial consequences at the least. The pressure to create a magnum opus weighs heavily on Toth throughout, further exacerbating the anxieties that come with being an immigrant. He has traded the confines of one prison for another, albeit exceedingly more comfortable, trapped to do exactly as his financier pleases, and terrified of what it would mean to not succeed in the most significant project of his life. Ultimately, this is a film about survival and the resiliency of the human spirit. Laszlo is willing to go through great lengths to provide for himself and his family. Let's just say he suffers pretty much the worst indignities imaginable, but through it all, he remains driven by his unstoppable need to build, to create. The cinematography is excellent as well, shot masterfully by Lowell Crowley, capturing the grandeur of Toth's designs as well as the intimacy of his personal interactions. This film was shot in VistaVision, a high-resolution format for 35mm film developed by Paramount in the 1950s. This gives the entirety of the film a unique look, as this format hasn't been used in a major release in over 60 years. The images are accented by a fantastic score by Daniel Blumberg throughout that captures a feeling of triumph. It will make you hyped to pursue your own personal goals, even through the darkness this story dips into. As stated in the film itself, it's not about the journey, but is in fact about the destination. The things this man has gone through are horrendous, things nobody should have to go through. Yet he persisted and achieved a legacy as indestructible as the buildings he created. Or so I thought. There are so many things to love about this film, and when all of the elements come together this well, it's impossible not to praise the director of the piece, Brady Corbet. I would have loved to end this video with some cheeky, eye-roll-inducing line about how he, like the central character of his film, has built something astounding and timeless. He is the genius architect. But this man has allowed his film to be tainted. Since the Brutalist's release, it has come out that AI was used to alter the accents of both Adrien Brody and Felicity Jones during sequences with Hungarian dialogue. It was also apparently used in shots included in the epilogue. Let me be perfectly clear on how I feel about this. This is fucking unacceptable. In my opinion, filmmaking is the ultimate human art form. Human art form. The combination of cinematography, music, acting, writing, directing, and so many other elements that are all used to form a connection with the audience, theoretically a group of complete strangers, is truly awe-inspiring. For me, a great film is pure chicken soup for the soul. When AI is used in filmmaking, the human element is removed. In this particular instance, it's extra infuriating because this is such a strong story about the human experience, and both Brody and Jones are giving career best performances. But that wasn't enough for Courbet. Even after working with a dialogue coach, he wanted their dialogue to be just that much better, and so Respeecher, an unholy technology that wants to consume the human voice like Ursula the Sea Witch, was employed. This is so disappointing because it's completely unnecessary. To be fair, I'll never think it's necessary, but with how good their performances are and the access to a coach, there's no way that their non-AI abused dialogue was so inaccurate it would have been noticeable to anybody other than native speakers. I don't mean to discount that portion of the audience's expert opinion, but I don't think improved accuracy is worth the cost of the human element, and I hope Hungarian film lovers agree. What's equally, if not more offensive, is the use of generative AI in shots in the final sequence of the film. Courbet makes clear that the designs in the film were hand-drawn by humans, but AI was used to then make footage of those buildings appear period accurate. No. Just no. We cannot allow the use of AI to generate shots of any kind. I'm the penguin in Fight Club just straight sliding down this slippery slope argument. As we start to accept a little bit of artificially generated content being used, more and more of it is going to bleed into the medium. That belief honestly made it difficult for me to decide where I stand with this particular film, because full disclosure, The Brutalist was my favorite film of 2024 until I read this news. I can't deny that I love this movie, and it still represents the collaborative effort of many talented human beings. But as a lover of movies in general, the director's choice to use AI for any aspect is the cinematic equivalent of putting just a little bit of shit into a chocolate cake. The majority of the experience is absolute bliss, but I won't ever be able to forget the taste of that one off piece. Don't do that again. Ever. That goes for all of you. Should have been an Adrien Plus, but I've got to knock down a whole letter grade for that AI bullshit. Brody Plus. Thank you so much for watching. Yeah, you. I'm talking to you specifically. Thank you.